What's the next step with investing? Are you looking into getting another investment property?
Yes, I am. Actually, there's this program that's out that lets you take it's a HELOC. I don't know if you know, it's home equity. So the equity you have, you can take like a credit line out of it, and then you can go get another investment property. So that's something I'm looking to get more into. Honestly, the world of real estate, I like it. But the way to really make money in real estate is you have to invest. You can make your commissions and you can be really wealthy in it, right? But you have to invest. And
if you're making a couple points opposed to like owning properties.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about getting into real estate, and I think they have this like skewed perspective of like, oh, I want to get into real estate and then get a realtor's license. I'm like, okay, you're not necessarily the one in real estate. You're just kind of middlemaning the deals. Yeah. It's the individuals that own the real estate. Yeah. And then obviously flip those properties or then, you know, lease or rent those properties out.
Exactly. And yeah, you get that.
Another podcast. We've got the Adversity Kings, another special episode. We got Pamela Sanchez, local entrepreneur or out of town?
No, local.
Local? Okay. Local entrepreneur, Chicago entrepreneur, real estate?
Yes, real estate.
Okay, awesome. And then hopping on Adversity Kings today. So where can everybody find you?
On Instagram, Pamela Sanchez. You can also, actually all of my tags are Pamela Sanchez. So LA and then my whole name.
And then Pamela Sanchez. I think that's pretty easy for you guys to look up and spell. If it sounded harder, I'd make her spell it out. I think you guys got the gist. All right, so how'd you hear about me? How'd you find the podcast?
So, I know Mike. I think you reached out to him. He's on American Dream.
Okay.
He was like, because we went out for dinner, right? And because I'm trying to network with everybody and stuff. And he's like, hey, you should check out this kid because he's, young and I'm young too.
How long you been doing the real estate now?
So it's been a few years.
Let's go.
Yes. It was crazy, actually. Like how everything happened. It was more so I had a necessity. And that's like something that I come from like a single mom, right? Mm-hmm. She's a completely single mom and she worked her butt off. Like she worked her butt off and everything. And so it was my senior year of high school, like the last of everything. And I was in cross-country track. I was in everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I come home to my mom sitting on the couch one day, and she was like crying her butt, bawling her eyes out because we had just gotten an eviction letter. Yeah. And so I don't have any like family to lean on like that. Like I have siblings, but they're not like close to us. Mm-hmm. So it was just like me, my mom. That's it. So when everything kind of just tumbled and everything just went down, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because there's nobody to lean on, right? Nobody. So that's when I was like, I had started working when I was 16. So I had started saving up money. I never told my mom I saved the money, but I saved it. I started working on my credit as soon as I turned 18. I just kind of aligned to everything. I got a really good job. I was a general manager for this restaurant company in like Crystal Lake. So it was like super far. And I was hustling. I was in high school. And then I went one day, I went to go talk to a lender, a mortgage lender. And I was like, hey, what can I do to get approved? And so I started reading into like multi-units and like into house hacking because I didn't want to be stuck with like a single family home. Yeah. Something you gotta like live in for 30 years. I'm probably gonna move out, right? Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let me do this. So I went, I got a multi-unit, right? And so I was like, okay, let me go. So the first time he denied it, he's like, hey girl, you cannot buy this. Yeah. But he said, because I had to work on like a couple like credit stuff. And, hey, I got it down, right? So I went, I got approved. I got approved for like $355,000. Wow. Yeah, right off the bat, I was like $355,000 to like $450,000. That was like my limit, and that was pretty good. This is actually I got a pretty good interest rate. I got like a 3.1, 3.2 interest rate. Yeah. I brought like $11,000 to closing. Like everything just kind of fell into place. But like I'm a big believer that everything just comes back to you. So like circling back to what I was saying, I'm like, okay, well let me do this, mom. And so it's so funny because I didn't tell her that I got approved. I kind of just told her, like, hop in my car and let's, like, drive. We drove, like, an hour away. Mm-hmm. I meet up with this mortgage lender, and she's like, hey. And I'm like, Mom, ven. Because I don't know if she's Spanish. She's like, let's come in Spanish. And so I sat her down. She's sitting right next to me. And I'm like, I just got approved for a home mortgage loan. And, like, I remember the relief. And, like, it finally felt so good because I felt like my mom did so much for me, growing up. And it was finally time for, like, me to do something for her. Yeah. So it was in the instance where I was like, I felt so good. But it took me 6 months to close. It was a long closing. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole real estate thing. No. But it takes about a month to 2 months to close, max, right? Yeah. It took me 6 months. The first mortgage lender had approved me, right? But he was just asking me for a bunch of documents. He's just going to get me to the table. So then I ended up going with a whole different lender. And that lender was able to close me like that. I ended up paying extra, actually, when I was getting the whole approval, just because it had dragged so long that it had tenants, the building. So it's a 3-flat. It has 3 bedrooms on top, 1 bed, 3 beds, 1 bath, 3 beds, 1 bath, and then 1 bed, 1 bath. Wow. Yeah, so it was pretty big, but she had tenants and like before, so I had asked her to kick them out because I wanted the whole thing like, blank. But things kind of told, right? So I had to pay extra, like, for her, like, bills and stuff, just so I could continue the process. So I ended up actually bringing a little bit more to the table, but, I mean, I still got it done. I remember, like, the whole process, there was a part in time where he's like, hey, we might not be able to do this. Yeah. He's like, and I'm like, I kind of had put everything into it. So I was like, you know what, Mom? This part where I kind of almost gave up. I'm like, you know what, Mom? I found this, like, on this, like, Facebook. It was, like, Facebook Marketplace. This guy was, like, renting, like, this really nice house. It was, like, $2,000 or something. And I'm like, you know what? I have all this money. Let's just go rent. I'm tired of it. So I'm like, okay, Mom. We got into the car. We get there. And there's a whole moving truck right there. And I'm like, oh, my God. He had just rented the place out. So it was, like, things after things that just felt like was just tumbling down on me. Like, it was just, and I was like, what are we going to do? And that's when I actually got in contact with the other lender, and he was able to close me. But I remember that day I was, like, crying because it was just this whole immense thing, you know? It's like.
That's a lot. So now investing in a real estate, do you lease out the property, rent out the property?
Yes, I'm renting out the property.
And then does your mom stay in one of the flats?
Yeah, she's one of the flats.
Okay. And so, and then the other two,
I'm renting.
That's just profitability and covers.
Yeah, so basically my mom lives, and I mean, that's kind of the reason I got a multi-unit, right? Because I was like, well, I don't want to live in the whole thing. So my mom's living there. She's getting her mortgage completely paid. It feels good because, you know, how we were renting, right? And the way things happen, now she doesn't have to worry about that. Now she has getting that covered. So yeah, my first unit, I'm renting it for $1,500, top, and then the bottom I'm renting for like $850.
Wow.
So I'm getting profit. The whole one unit just pays for like the whole mortgage. The other unit's like profiting me money. So at the end of the day, she's getting her bills paid and she's getting her mortgage paid.
Wow. That's awesome.
So it kind of everything just.
What before we go much further, what was like I know you said grew up in a single parent household with just your mom, but like what was those early? First off, where are your parents from?
So my parents are from Mexico.
What part of Mexico?
So just my mom. She's from Veracruz.
Veracruz,
Mexico.
Okay. Dope.
So she's from like a little small part. It's like the Gulf of Mexico. It's a nice area.
Have you been back?
Have I been back?
Yeah.
Or have I been?
Have you been?
Yeah, I've been.
Okay.
It's really nice.
You like it there?
Yeah, I do.
How many times have you been there?
Only once, actually.
Okay.
Only once.
Would you go again?
I would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then what about your dad?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Okay. So Veracruz, and then growing up, when did your dad leave or?
So my dad was actually just never in the picture.
Never in the picture.
Like
okay.
He was gone before
you were born. And then is it just, now I know you have other siblings, but it's just you and your mom?
It's just me and my mom.
And then, so what was growing up for you in those early years? Like, what do you remember about those, like, those more so those elementary years?
Elementary years? Well, actually, I moved around a lot. So I'm here, I'm local, I'm from Chicago, but I was moving, like, honestly, everywhere just because I lived with my aunt for a while. Like, they had a house here for a little bit. Then they got foreclosed on. Okay. So we had to leave. Then we went up to, like, Palos, and we were there for a while. I moved a lot, right? Okay. But my mom, like, always had that mindset where she still always worked. Yeah. You know, she still tried to provide. And honestly, I think that's something I captivate a lot from her. Yeah. Because seeing her, like I said, never had, like, that man figure. I never had a dad. Never had any of that. Like, my whole family is, like, a woman, strong empowerment, that type of thing. So I think I picked it up a lot, right? I picked it up. And so growing up, my mom worked a lot. She was just never home. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I learned how to implementize myself very well just by being myself. Like, I know how to be alone and still entertain myself. So those things like that I feel like really picked up and kind of now relate to me as how I am.
What all did she do for work growing up?
She had like a little, it was like a temp job. So she had a temp job. It was a temp job. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but being a temp job, you go from agency to agency. It's not a job that's very secure. Yeah. So, I mean, but she never gave up, you know, like sometimes they would be like, there's no more work. And so she would be without work for a while. But then, you know, things would captivate even more. And then she got another job, but she never, as things went, you know, sometimes we went down. Yeah. Sometimes we didn't have that much money. Sometimes it was things like that. I mean, I like to say my mom still tried to give me as much as she could. Yeah. Maybe I didn't have, like, the newest toy, but I had a roof on my head and I had everything else. Yeah. And that's honestly the only thing that really mattered to me.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So what was kind of like the middle school and high school years like?
Well, middle school and high school, I mean, since I moved a lot, I couldn't really make friends like that just because when I would make friends, we had to go. But when I did make friends, I think I had a pretty good high school and middle school years. I mean, my middle school years, kind of when I got to high school is when we were more stable and I actually got to be friends with the people that I was, you know, and I ended up going to high school with them. I was in cross country and track. So I was in clubs and sports. Yeah. More high school year, I think I was more stable. Yeah. I was definitely more stable. We actually had the place, but then that was when my senior year came around and, like, everything kind of just turned, and we had to get out.
What was your first job? You said you started working at
So
16.
I worked at this fast casual restaurant. It's called Boston Market.
Okay.
It's like a chicken place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked there I was actually in the back, so it was like a kitchen. I was just doing the kitchen stuff.
Yeah.
I worked like dishwasher, stuff like that. But I mean, I feel like even though my mom needed the help, I didn't have to work. It was just more so because I wanted to like learn how to make my own money.
Yeah.
I didn't want to depend on my mom to give me $50 to go out or to do all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting the jobs, and I mean, I started working, and I was working for 2 years. I had that job for 2 years, and then I actually got a second job. It was my senior year, and then my senior year, I was working in this mall. It's like this mall kiosk, this little kiosk place.
Yeah.
I was working there for a while. It was nice, and then that's actually where I met who I work with now. So he was like a general manager at the time, and he said, "Hey, let's try to promote you and see what you can do." And that's when he promoted me, and that's kind of what helped me a lot to have enough income, you know, to make the things like that. But I mean, coming back into like investing and stuff, I became a realtor because of that.
Yes.
Right.
So not only are you a realtor where you broker, you know, mortgages and obviously sell properties, but you invest in properties. More so, what's kind of like the realtor side of it? When did you get your realtor's license? And
so I got my realtor's license actually pretty recently.
Okay.
I've been I started as an investor, obviously, right?
Okay.
So, but I got my real estate license recently. I got it because of that. I mean, I always had like, because I sat on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Being so young, you know, you probably get this, you know, like you started young too. I seen that.
Mm-hmm.
People don't take you as seriously, right?
Mm-mm.
Like people kind of doubt you, and people do these things, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna trust you. So what I like about it is that I've been on the other side of the table. Like you see 30, 40-year-olds, people are buying houses, right? But it's like they kind of look at me and they're like, hey, do you really know what you're doing? And I'm like, well, I've been on the other side of the table. I mean, I know what it is to go through the whole process. I've signed on papers. I know, and I think that's what makes me different. But that's honestly what made me get into real estate. I realized how important it is to be a homeowner, because at any moment when you're renting, you can get kicked out, you know?
And with being on the real estate side of it, being a realtor, when you sell yourself, now when you, in the future, can you legally sell yourself a property?
You can.
And then, like, what percentages? Like,
but it's like a little. You have to. They don't advise it.
Yeah.
But you can do it. Yeah.
So you could sell yourself a property into some type of investment property, and then obviously flip, maybe you know, get a couple extra points because you are getting that real estate commission. Whatever.
I mean, that's what a lot of people do. Actually, the one who sold me my property, she was a realtor herself.
Oh, okay.
So she actually kind of understood it, this kind of thing. So that's why honestly I'm glad she was. Yeah. Because it was her investment property that she was just trying to sell. Yeah. And so it worked out.
So how has the realtor side of things gone? How many houses have you sold?
I'm honestly doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Honestly, I work with a lot of people who are younger, like 18, 19, who are looking to actually have a buyer's consultation tomorrow. Yeah. And it's this like 20-year-old couple that are trying to buy their first property. Yeah, I mean, hey, like that's what I love to see. Like I got 20-year-olds trying to buy a house.
I was just thinking about like, honestly, just thought about this time when I lived with my ex and it was the worst time of my life. So I was like, I'm thinking of like 20-year-olds buying a house together. Oh my God. But, you know, hopefully, you know, that works out.
Hopefully they get approved,
definitely get approved financially, but emotionally, hopefully, you know what I mean? They've like tested it out of like living with someone else, because I don't know, I must be nuts, but.
No, I mean, I get you.
Okay, so with the real estate side of things and then investing back into the other properties, what's the next step with investing? Are you looking into getting another investment property?
Yes, I am. Actually, there's this program that's out that lets you take it's a HELOC. I don't know if you know, it's home equity. So the equity you have, you can take like a credit line out of it, and then you can go get another investment property. So something I'm looking to get more into. Honestly, the world of real estate, I like it. But the way to really make money in real estate is you have to invest. You can make your commissions and you can be really wealthy in it, right? But you have to invest. And
if you're making a couple points opposed to like owning properties.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about getting into real estate, and I think they have this like skewed perspective of like, oh, I want to get into real estate and then get a realtor's license. I'm like, okay, you're not necessarily the one in real estate. You're just kind of middlemaning the deals. Yeah. It's the individuals that own the real estate and then obviously flip those properties or then, you know, lease or rent those properties out.
Exactly. And yeah, you get that. I mean, a lot of people don't. I think real estate right now is really glamorized too.
Yes.
On top of it, everybody wants to get the real estate license. But let me tell you, on an extra perspective, it is. I mean, you get it. You're in sales.
Yeah.
Not everybody can qualify, and it's not that easy. You have to work and hunt for your leads. It's things like that people don't consider. Like, yes, it's good money. Like, don't get me wrong.
Are people able to afford in the inflated market right now?
Right now, I mean, people are still buying. At the end of the day, people are going to buy. Because if you think about it, interest rates are rising too, but so are apartments. So is inflation. I mean, either way, it's going to, you can always get refinanced for things. That's always possible. I mean, the thing is to just get into real estate.
Now, and I watch a lot of, not political podcasts, but just this more politically perspective-based podcast, Patrick by David, and he kind of will have individuals come on and talk about just the overall economy, and they'll talk about real estate. And I think I'm more so just seeing the commercial side of things, because I'm in more of I'm on the other side of commercial real estate. I'm, obviously leasing out these. I've got 2 suites here, and then seeing the just what COVID did to all the workplaces by making people work virtually, and then you've got billions of dollars into commercialized real estate that in the next few years is projected to either it needs paid for or foreclosed on, and it's going to cause this massive bubble. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know how far down that goes throughout the entire real estate market in general. You know what I mean? When it comes into the housing units, which I imagine that's what you're operating in. So it's like, is there a bubble that's being created there in a similar way where it's like?
I mean, yes, in a way, yes.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. But like I said, it goes up and it goes down. That's just how the economy works, right? It's just going to go up and it's just going to down. There's going to be instances, I mean, it's always like, don't wait until the market crashes. But I mean, you're going to sit there and wait for the market to crash a long, long time. 2009 is not going to happen again. I mean, I really don't think it is. Going into like what you said in commercial, though, a lot of people, like as realtors, try not to get into commercial.
Yeah.
But honestly, commercial is really good to get into. You don't have that much competition.
Yeah.
You don't have that much agents who are like trying to. It's a lot of residential side. It's not like something I'm trying to get more into, like the commercial side of things. But like going back into that, I mean, it's just a circle. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down.
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta make sure you buy. Because if you say you didn't buy, right, it's wasting time. Like me, I bought it when I was 18.
Yeah.
I got a really good rate. I mean, I would still buy now. I mean, as long as you buy, right? Especially if you're an investor, that's what you want to do. You just want to buy. You want to get your foot into the door.
Yes. When you're a first-time homeowner, they give you a discount? Or tax credit?
Yes. So first-time home buyers use the FHA program. That's what I use.
Yeah.
So I put 3.5% down. It can be either for a single-family home or it can be for a multi-unit. That multi-unit can be from 1 to 4 units, and you only have to put 3.5% down. The credit's even like lower on that. You only have to have a 580 credit score.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like what I like to say is there's a lot of programs out there, but FHA is a really good one. They're also right now it's going on a lot. There's this program with IDA. And they give you $10,000 credits to close. So they even give you $10,000. You can either pay it back or they take a little bit, buy a little. And I mean, there's so many programs out there. I don't know. Like ITIN. I don't know if you know what ITIN is. That's for like people who don't have socials.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even have programs for people with ITINs, and we can help them.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's just so many things out there now. It's
That's nuts.
Yup.
That's insane.
Yup.
So what about all this money in real estate? What do you like spending money on?
What do I like spending money on?
Other than real estate.
Other than real estate, I like shoes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of shoes? Are these red bottoms?
No, these aren't red bottoms.
What kind of shoes you like to
Yeah, I
spend
like
money
shoes like this.
Yeah?
I like Jordans. I see your little collection over there.
Yeah. Keep some Jordans in the office. I got a couple pair of red bottoms over there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So what kind of shoes do you like?
Well, Jordan 1s.
Jordan 1s? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the typical... I get flamed sometimes for wearing the Jordan 1s with my suits, but I feel like I see a lot of people do that in Chicago, just Jordan 1s with like dress attire. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of individuals like, hey, that's not professional. You should just put on your Ferragamos. And it's like, the Jordans are more comfortable, and for some reason, like a significant amount of businessmen and women will wear Jordans. I don't know if it's a Chicago thing, but I see Jordans a lot with like dress attire. You know what I mean? With like a professional get up, you'll see somebody with Jordans on, and it's comfortable, and it's kind of like, like a Chicago like thing. I feel like, you know what I mean? You can just nod at somebody, you're in your suit, they're in their suit, and you got your Jordans on.
But I like that though, just because I feel like when you see somebody, like, I put the poll out before on this, and it's like, would you prefer an agent who's like completely like dressed professional, or someone's a little bit more casual? And a lot of people said they prefer that casual agent.
A little more casual, yeah.
Because it makes them feel more personable.
Yes.
You know, like, they see that you're still a person, and at the end of, you're not like completely suited and you're about to go make a sales out of it.
I think especially when you're on, like, it depends. I feel like it depends on like what is going down in this interaction. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if you're going to consult, you're going to a speaking event or something like that. Even then, you connecting with the audience, you want to have that relatability. But like when you're selling somebody something, like when I was selling life insurance, back in my early days when I was your age, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, I remember selling blue collar individuals and families and wearing sometimes a tank top and like basketball shorts and like flip flops.
Really?
You know what I mean? And so it's like, and I mean, I was going out in like the crazy boondocks where like they were like, you better not send no colored out here. And like, you know what I mean? I'm going out there and they're like, I thought, you know, I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm like, don't worry. I'm not that. You know what I mean? But little do they know, this little mixed boy was out there selling them some insurance. And but I remember going out there and just being relatable. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I were to go out there in a suit and like you put yourself, I was telling people the other day, I made this thread. When it comes to communication, if you communicate, the average American communicates on an 8th grade reading level. So if you're communicating on this extremely intelligent, utilizing and picking all these massive terms and like putting everything up here on like the highest shelf where people don't have any access, and they're not going to sit there and like ask what every word means.
Yeah.
So now you're making people feel dumb, and you can do that with your appearance as well. You know what I mean? If we just ball out and we just pull up in a Rolex with the red bottoms, and you're trying to sell people, and it's like you're showing them $100,000 house, and like, you know what I mean? You look like Cardi B or something. You know what I mean? You got Cartier from the toes to the ears. It's like, damn, she about to make a bag off me, and I'm just coming in this little shack. Right? So I completely agree with that. That casualty, bringing that to that relatability, it helps sell, it helps build relationships.
Yeah, I think so too. It makes you more personable. Yeah.
What else other than Jordans though? You like to?
I like cars too.
Cars?
I have Eclipse. I have a Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's like an older car, but like I have it all modeled out.
Okay. Is it like wrapped or anything?
No, it's just red. But I have a cold intake in it. I changed my exhaust. I like cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. What's the next car?
So next car, I want a Mercedes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's just more of like the classy side of things.
Yeah.
That I kind of just want a Mercedes. I want a Mercedes C500.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. We got some nice cars out there. I don't know if the Corvette was out there or the BMW i8, the orange car.
You have an i8?
I don't. One of our guys has one.
Yeah.
He's got the i8. One guy's got a Corvette. She just bought a Tesla.
Okay, girl.
Yep. So.
You know what? No, changing it. I want a Tesla.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The
no.
Tezzy?
Yeah. How is it?
Sure. They're great. And
It sucks.
You don't like Tesla?
No, I'm messing with her.
And they're really easy to like get approved too, since like you're like young. I'm 20 as well, and I got approved immediately. It's like a first time buying a car.
Okay.
And like you're not spending much money on gas, which is nice.
Yeah.
You got a little iPad in there, basically.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, definitely feel like as a realtor too, that's something I think would benefit me a lot because I drive a lot.
Oh God, yeah.
So like having an electric car, that would be so.
I like a loud car though.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know what
that.
I
See,
like the
that's
cold
what I
air
mean.
intake. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I like that. That's dope.
What car do you drive?
I got a big truck out there.
You got a big truck?
Yeah, big white truck. If you saw it's a Black Widow. Yeah, white truck, just all white, lifted. So
Cool.
that's it. We're originally from Arkansas, so I grew up. We grew up in
Really?
the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
See like your big trucks.
Big trucks,
and-
like the country. You know what I mean? Anything kind of out in the woods or anything like that. Fishing, hunting, all that. So not your typical. I don't know. I don't know if I could say that and be politically correct, but not your typical. You know.
Can't say it. Pick a
Not your typical mixed individual. So, but yeah, that's dope. So, cars, the Jordans. That was funny.
Yeah.
What about you? What about for self-development? You do any like reading podcasts?
Yes, I love reading. Now since I drive a lot, I listen to books. I used to
Yes.
like sitting there and just reading,
Yeah.
but I had talked to when I would meet different people, and I've always have this from them. They're always like, take that time, like when you're in the car to drive, because
Yes.
if you're like listening to like rap music and all
Yeah.
that stuff, you're like slowly like manifesting. I believe in manifestation. I don't know if you do, but
Yeah, I
I
was
do.
talking about it when
And
you came in.
exactly, like that type of things. Like when you're saying it, you kind of make it feel like if you're like
Yes.
singing a sad song. So I I like listening to books.
Oh yeah, I gotta be so careful with the music I listen to. Rap, I try to stop by like 8 a.m. because I'll work out early in the morning, and if I keep going, it's like I'm just so hot-headed naturally. Yeah. So if, you know what I mean. If I got Lil Wayne going or Eminem going, it's like something crazy might happen. You know what I mean? So I gotta put Nickelback on or something, or like worship music. You know what I mean? Keep it cool. But I 100% agree with the manifestation. I'm a really big believer in affirmations as well. And, you know, I think audibly doing it, but physically a couple times a week. I'm pretty religious with just my routine of just writing down, you know, your perspective and affirming your perspective over your individual life as a human and your future. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the vision boards I got up there right there, just as a reminder of like, that's my mom. You know what I mean? Like what I do it for, who I do it for, and then where I want to be physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. And I think it's vital. You know what I mean? And everything I've had on a vision board since I was 18 years old, I've owned. Like I had 2 Jaguars on my vision board, but when I was 18, and I owned pretty much identically both those Jaguars by the time I was 22 years old. And the trips and things like that, and the only thing I think missing on there is the Lambo. You know what I mean? So that's next. So, you know, I think vision boards, affirmations, positivity, guarding your mind. Yeah. I've been seeing that a lot lately as well. You know what I mean? And I've been sharing it with my company is you've got to guard your mind because your thoughts become your words. Yeah, you've got to guard your words because your words become your actions. Yeah. You've got to guard your actions because your actions become, you know, consistently your habits, and that creates your life. Right. And so I think that's vital for people to take into consideration, because it's like there's no coincidence that you're in the position that you're in at such a young age. Because if we were to dissect what you were doing from 16, 17 to the, you know, present age that you're at now, 20 years old, it's like when your friends were telling you to probably go out and party, get drunk, and go have fun and things like that, more times than not, you probably said, no, I got to work. I got to develop myself. I got to work on my craft. I got to make calls. I got to get closer to my goal. Whatever that might have been, there's no way you got to where you are now and where you're going to get without giving up. You know what I mean? So you got to give up to go up. So I think it's always really, you know, admirable when I'm interviewing individuals, younger, older, whoever it might be, different walks of life, and seeing it's like there's a lot of relatability, and there's a lot of, you know, comparison and parallels between industries across the board. Selling life insurance, being in real estate, owning real estate. It's like there's no way. There definitely had to be some late nights, some early mornings reading. It's like, and it's like if another young woman's watching, it's like, man, she's just lucky. Like she's just not. Like there's no way she ain't do that. There's like whatever, you know what I mean? Like a man helped her or something like that. There's probably a lot of haters that are gonna say that.
I get that so often. Yeah. Actually, when I would go and look at houses, like, cause you know, like when you schedule a showing, I'm with my realtor.
Where's your boyfriend, honey?
Yeah.
Where's your husband?
God, I would go. Actually, that's when I started bringing my mom. Yeah. And it was so funny to me because like the realtor would just start talking to my mom about the house and show her this and then that, and then it was so funny because at the end, my mom would be like, oh, she's the one buying. Yeah. They just never believed it. It was just like, what? Like, she's buying? It's like, so yeah, I mean, that's so true. You know, things like that happen where they just don't believe you. And it's like, and I get that so many times. Like, but honestly, my thing is if you have the ambition, if you want to work hard, anything's possible. And that's literally all it is. If you want to do something, get up and do it. Like, you sitting here is not going to do anything. You know, you have to work for your things. And that's what I always say.
I'm curious because there's this, in today's day and age, there's this, I don't know how to necessarily put it, and I don't know, I don't think it's like completely divided, but I feel like sometimes like the household isn't completely blended in regard to who runs the house. It's like either a man, a woman. It's like, what are your thoughts on like, what's the perfect household for you in the future?
You know what? It's so interesting. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about that with the same, you know, like that man runs the house, woman does the cleaning, cooking, and I have female friends who like to do that, you know, who want to be the housewife and just me on a different perspective. I think there's 2 cups, right? There's 1 cup and then there's 2 cups. And it's just so funny because it's literally what I had a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. And you have 1 bigger cup, you have a smaller cup. And their thing was they were saying that this cup should align to this cup, but it should only feed this 1 cup. And I'm like, why can't the cups be the same? Like, you know, like, why wouldn't you want to be, you know, that power couple thing? Why would you not want to be that? Like, if, say something happens to you, right? And why wouldn't you want, and if the other person can't lean, you would want you to lean, you know, you want it to be the same. That's how I think about it. Yeah. If I'm going to be with my partner, I want my partner to at least be with me, and that's maybe at the same level. And if they're not at the same level, we can work up to get you that level.
Now, would you date your partner if they were doing less than you?
I would.
Yeah?
Because I want to help them.
What if they were just like a slob? They're like, hey, babe, you're making so much money. I'm going to play these video games. You just keep rocking.
See, that's a tough one.
I'll be a stay-at-home dad.
That's a tough one, honestly.
Hey, babe, I need an allowance. Hey, babe, you paying for dinner?
Yeah.
Hey, babe, like, would you be down with that? We were talking about this the other day. I was joking because, you know, she's very ambitious. She runs the media company, so she's the CEO.
See, go, girl.
Yes. So the media company is her. Adversity King. She runs the media company for me. So that's her full responsibility, and I just kind of sit on the board.
Yeah.
But she's like, I wouldn't want to go into a relationship where it's just like, oh, I'm paying half of everything. Yeah. And I like that. I agree with that because I feel like we should both be able to. Yeah. But me personally, I would like to provide for the bills, and then you have your money, I got my money. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
and it's because like if he makes $100,000 a month, and let's say you make $10,000 a month, yeah, I don't think you should pay. He makes way more. That's my opinion.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
What she's saying, it makes sense. But, I mean, I'm still on that. If it should be, like, around the same thing. Like, if
50-50 split the rent?
No, not 50-50 split the rent.
Oh, see? You ain't splitting the rent.
I don't know. See, that's a tough one.
Yeah, hell no, we ain't splitting the mortgage.
Whether you're there or not.
Right.
So
all right, I got another one. Okay. What about dinners? 50-50 on the dinners?
So, you know what, actually... when actually we go out with friends and stuff, what we do is one of us pays the whole bill and one of us pays the tips.
Yeah, no, not friends. I'm talking about this guy want to, like, be with you.
And he wants to pay 50-50?
Yeah, and hey, babe, we got to go 50-50 on his dinner.
I mean, is he struggling?
No,
like,
he got money.
Oh, then no.
Yeah, he got money.
No, he should be able to pay the bill.
Okay. No, I like that. I don't care. Like, I kind of get offended. It's probably like too control. I'm kind of offended if a girl's like, I'll pay. The fuck? No. Now we're not even going out. Why would you? You could say I'm broke. You know what I mean? But no, I think I 100% agree with that. I think, you know what I mean? And I like, you know what I've been thinking? Because when you start getting into money, and I bet you'll get it. I bet females, because you'll hear it from the males a lot, where it's like, oh, that dude's got money. His girl's just a gold digger.
Yeah.
I feel like successful women probably get labeled with some of their dudes as like, oh, that dude's just a gold digger. He's just with her to get bread and get things taken care of for him. But I heard this the other day and I was like, maybe she's not a gold digger. You know, maybe there's just standards that she has for herself and he has for himself as well. And I think, I don't know who reposted, but I think someone had said, maybe they're not a gold digger. Maybe, you know, you're just too broke to do shit for your girl. Yeah. And I like that. And I think vice versa as well. It's like, same deal. So I saw a girl post something. It's like a girl making a lot of money and wanting to take care and spoil her husband, her significant other, or whatever, and, you know, get him a nice gift or whatever it might be. Get whoever a nice gift, and then people being like, oh, wow, you know, her spouse is a gold digger. And it's like, you know, maybe you're just too broke to do something nice for your spouse. Right. So I kind of like that. What are your thoughts on the gold digger topic?
I mean, gold digger topic, I mean, yes, you get that. If you're like an independent woman and you got a man, and they'll look at him as like a gold digger. But I don't think it's to that perspective. I mean, vice versa, right? Yeah. Vice versa.
I think it's like what you said, where when it's a healthy relationship, the right relationship, you elevate the other person.
Yeah.
So after you're with them, now they're making even more money because you elevate
I got a question, because I hear this a lot of like, you know what I mean? You'll hear, you know, and this is true. You know what I mean? I've seen it really only with one girl. You know, and I've seen, you know, like, where like a good girl can change the whole game and help you elevate. You know what I mean? In your life, and all the ones I've met, that hasn't happened. But
well, you just haven't met the right one. You just haven't met the right one.
And listen, if any of my, you know, exes are watching this, I love and respect you. I'm making a podcast, so, you know, like, you definitely was talking shit on me a little bit. So this is as worse as I get. But I'm thinking here, you know, what are your thoughts on even finding the right man or the right woman? Do you think like it really, like, that really holds true? Like the right relationship can really 10x your life, your business?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you like going into a relationship. Like for me, I don't date for fun. I date I think
date for marriage.
Date for marriage. Honestly, like I think about it 10 times in the head. Like I'm like, okay, well, is this the type of person I can really like sit and talk? And,
do you have like a red flags list? Like I got a list in my phone.
Yeah, you do.
I have a non-negotiable list. I created it. One of the women in our business has one, and I was like, I kept hearing it, and then I met another gentleman, and he was like, I made one, and I revisited it with my wife. Dude's 40 years old, makes millions. Wow. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to make one of these now, because I have the same mindset of like, I was telling her the other day, and I think I was telling her or somebody else. I don't know. It's like, I think a lot of people will complain like, I just can't find the right person. Well, it's like, where are you looking? You know what I mean? Because we live in like a Tinder age, so it's like you probably ain't gonna find your wife or your husband on Tinder. You know what I mean? So I mean, she did, but like, sorry, no. So, but I mean, thinking that I was like that hit. I think it was a pastor that told me that. He was like, it's because I was like, man, I want to find a good godly woman, bro. And he was like, where are you looking? I was like, never mind. You know what I mean? It's not the church, but that hit me, and so I was like sitting here thinking, I'm like, definitely, I think the right woman. But preceding that, it's kind of like getting into a home. It's like you can't get someone in a home if you don't have a pre-qualification list, or get them into a life insurance policy if there's not like, can you even qualify?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like the right woman, you got to qualify for that woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a list of like, unfortunately sometimes I miss because it's like some women's list is like 6 foot. You know what I mean? I'm like, in short. You know what I mean? But others that are there's inclusivity. It's 2023. Yeah. Inclusivity. You got to include me. 5'10", 5'11", whatever. Yeah. If I put the Jordans on, it's 6 foot. So I'll just keep the Jordans on in the house. But I think about that a lot. Do you have a list, or do you just keep it in your mind?
I mostly just keep it in my mind. But now that you're saying that, I should write it.
Yeah, write it down. Write it down. What are your top 2-3 things of like gotta have that? Gotta have a job.
That's a good one. If you don't have a job, at least you're working for a job or you're in school to do something. Yeah. If you're just gonna
Q no scrubs.
I don't care what you're doing as long as you're doing something, right? As long as you're doing something. Like if you're in school and you're not working right now, but you're in school, okay, I love that. You're gonna get your career in a few years. But like if you don't have a job, it's like I can't do that, right? I just can't. Honestly, that's more. And then I need somebody who's open-minded. Yeah. Because I like to think outside the box, and sometimes I think like a mile outside of the box. So if you can't think outside the box,
what would that look like? Like
what would like a whole mile outside the box look like for me? Well, I'm just in a sense, it's like just from what do you believe in, right? Those are your beliefs. That's like my first little box, right? Yeah. But then I also think about other ways things can happen, right? So I'm just. If I can't make it happen this way, I try to find a different way to make it, and I just keep doing it. So a lot of people just try that one time, and then they don't keep trying. And like I keep trying until I really see like, okay, crap, I can't make this happen, right? So I need somebody who wants to do that too, who can, has that, okay, I got this, like I'm gonna figure out a thing. So to me, it's really just have a good job or have a job, right? Have a career. As long as it's something, right? You're trying. That's all that matters to me. You're trying. Because if you're just sitting on the couch playing video games, it's just not going to work for me. Like, at least some people make careers out of playing with video games, right?
So at least be good.
At least, like,
at least get paid.
Get paid. Get paid for what you're doing. And honestly, it's great too if you can get paid for something that you love. Like I love seeing like gamers who like enjoy playing games. And they're getting paid a lot of money for it. Yeah. That's crazy. Like that's insane. Yeah.
So get paid, open-minded. Just paid, 2?
Just 2, honestly, to me. I'm trying to think of another one. I would say just like the things on top of my head. You don't gotta be like super tall for me either. Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's go.
Actually, no, that might not be true.
Yep. Hey, look, guys, if you're 5'4", hit her up. Pamela Sanchez. 5'4" works. Good to go.
I mean, I'm 5'2". Yeah, so that works.
Yeah, 2 inches.
5'4" works, maybe.
5'4" works.
Honestly, as long as you're taller than me. As long as you're taller than me.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is 5'4". All right, dope. So, do you have hobbies that you like?
Yes, I love nature.
Nature?
Yes, I love nature. I think nature's so
Walks
pretty.
in the park?
Walks in the park. Do you know Pamelas Heights? Like around that area?
I really don't like leave this area.
No. Okay.
But I've heard Pamelas Heights a lot.
It's like it's got a bunch of forest preserves.
Yeah.
I just love going to them.
Yeah.
Like that's like the kid in me, I guess, in a way. Because I like love going out and.
Do you like pets?
Yes, I love pets.
What's your fave?
What's my favorite dog or like just dog?
I don't know, animal.
Dog. Yeah. I have a Yorkie.
Yorkie?
She's this small.
Yeah.
She's just a teacup.
You like bulldogs?
I do. I want an English bulldog actually.
Yeah. See, that's what Our mom has an English and French,
Yeah,
and we make her bring them out. I think she's about to get a French. Yeah, so French, and I'm gonna try to get an English maybe. Maybe in the spring or something. Make her potty train it. I don't know. I just can't deal with that shit.
You don't have any pets right now at all?
We have them. Like, they're mine, ours, but they stay with our mom in Pittsburgh. They're just a lot of work. You know what I mean? So, I just don't want to get up and let it pee. I'm the type of person like, yo, dog, go right there. I'm tired.
And then you just go pick it up.
Yeah.
Just call it a day. Yeah.
Call it a day. So, animals, nature. You like the water? We've been going up and jet skiing a lot.
You know what? I'm like, that's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah? Even Lake Michigan?
Even Lake Michigan.
There's no sharks out there.
It's not even about sharks. It's just like you don't know what's under the water.
Yeah,
that's to me.
More water.
No. So much of the water is undiscovered. That to me, it's like,
No?
yeah, open water scares me.
Yeah?
I'm trying to get rid of it. See, I'm not afraid of heights. I went skydiving.
Okay, I did too.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
I would.
Honestly, but it wasn't long enough for me.
My plane started beeping red, and they started yelling at each other.
Really?
Yeah. It was a weird experience. The red light started beeping, and the dude that was about to jump out looked back. He's like, "We can't see anything. There's something wrong with the rotors. Should we still jump? Fuck it, they're up here. We've never done this before." I'm looking back like, the fuck, dude? I'm up here. I'm half black, dog. Nobody else.
Bad dream you had.
It wasn't a bad dream. I have the pictures. I have the pictures. It happened. It happened. It was a horrible experience. And then we jumped, and then, it's fine. I'm like, oh, we die. It's fine. But the girdle thing goes straight up into my soul. My legs are like, I don't know, like I couldn't feel them land. Everything hurt. It's all bunched up. So it was a horrible kind of experience. It was thrilling. It was cool that I could maybe give like a motivational speech off and like, I jumped out of a plane. How bad do you want to be successful? Something stupid like that. But other than that, horrible. Just 2 hours away, out in the middle of Illinois. So
yeah, I liked it. Honestly, I felt like it wasn't long enough. You get up there,
nuts.
And you get up there, and then like you jump, right? And they tell you, and it's like 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute of you just free falling, and then they pull the parachute, and you're just like floating.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't enough for me. See, I like the thrill. I like adrenaline.
Maybe like into the ocean.
No, see, you lost me there.
All right, what about? No,
Yeah.
that wouldn't work. What about movies? You like movies?
Yes, I love thriller movies.
Thriller movies?
Yeah.
Like, what would that be?
Like
The Nun?
The Call. No, that's like horror.
Okay, wait.
Like thrillers, like the ones that kind of get you off your seat. Like.
Isn't that scary movies?
It's not really scary.
All right, name your thriller movies.
The Call. Halle Berry. You know her?
No. Oh, Halle Berry?
Yeah, Halle Berry.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know The Call. Actually, yeah, that's where she gets kidnapped. And she's like in a basement.
And she's a 911 operator.
Yeah.
Yes, love that. That's my favorite movie.
Dude, I don't even know. That's how you know. I've seen like every movie. That's crazy. Okay, what about another one?
Kidnap, which is also with her.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Split.
Split. Okay, yeah.
Like movies like that.
I can relate to that guy.
You can?
I'm just playing. No, but I probably have a personality disorder. She does too. Different personalities, you know what I mean? You just clicked.
That's just having emotions.
Yeah.
It's like, who am I now? No, but like I have like strength with my personalities. Like different levels of strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm one step away from being able to climb with one of my personalities. Just like Split.
You can't climb without that personality.
No, but like climb a flat surface like Spider-Man. Like have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. Dope movie. Do you have a favorite book?
Favorite book: How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I've been telling everybody about that book all the time. I have the notes on the book in my notes, and I review them. And they're so simple. You know what I mean? Smile, use people's name, don't beat them up, everything like that. So it's like so fire, phenomenal book. Favorite food, favorite restaurant?
I love Asian food.
Asian food?
I am a diehard Asian.
You have a favorite place?
Korean barbecues. Yes, there's one not down. It's Chinatown. It's called. I'm gonna butcher this. Jingnu or something like that.
Yeah, that was her name when she was.
Jingnu, something like that. Fire Korean. Have you ever had a Korean barbecue before?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that where you put it in the center of the table?
Yeah, put it in the center of the table and you cook it.
Yeah.
God, they have this thing, garlic beef.
Yeah.
It's
Fire?
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fire. Yeah.
That's dope.
There's so many places in Chinatown. Actually, Chinatown's like my favorite place here in Illinois.
For real?
Yeah, I love
That'd be
Asian food
dope.
that much.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be a dope place to get some footage too. As we wrap up, do you have favorite music?
Favorite music? I like pop in a way. Like honestly, yeah, I like pop.
Anybody in particular?
Anybody in particular? I like Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa?
I heard Dua Lipa fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Trying to think, where do you want to be in the next 5-10 years? We'll wrap up with this.
Where I want to be in the next 5 years? I want to actually open my own brokerage.
Okay.
That's my
In Illinois?
Goal. In Illinois, yeah.
Let's go.
Open my own brokerage.
Let's go. Dope. I think that's it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk on?
I think that's it. I think just going back to it, like if you want to buy a house, you can do it at any age. You just have to have the ambition, work hard, and you can do it. I mean, I bought it at 18, so I feel like that should motivate people.
Yes.
That if I could do it, you can too.
And I think, like, you put it really well. It's like there's a lot of programs out there, and it's maybe not as hard as people think it is.
It's just people aren't educated on it.
Yes.
Right. So that's kind of what.
So if you want some education, doesn't sound like she's going to hard close you, I would hit up Pamela Sanchez.
Yes.
Right? Cool. Well, this was another episode of Adversity Kings. We are ranked in the world for top podcasts. We are number 1,436. I'm just playing. I have no idea. We're probably not even ranked. My mom will watch this. But other than that, I think that's it. If you guys have recommendations for who we should get on the podcast next, if you got recommendations, please send us people, and we'll go from there. Cool. Thank you, guys.